Ladies and gentlemen, what's good? We're back with another NBA Infinite video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. We have our first ever balance changes of the global update of the game. Obviously, there's a few things that are happening in the update that's happening tonight. We already knew that we were going to be receiving James Harden along with some other players as the updated Game Changers packs. But apparently, there's actually going to be balance changes, which I'm personally very excited for because it does mean that we are going to have meaningful balance changes for the players that do exist in the game. So we're going to be running through all of those and giving you guys the rundown on everything that's happening in this upcoming balance patch. Hope you guys do enjoy. If you do, drop a like down below. If it's helpful, subscribe if you haven't already. As you guys can see, balance patch is happening between 4 a.m. and 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. PST. You can convert that to whatever it is to wherever you are. But the first of the player changes that we are going to have in this update is a nice little buff to Trey Young. Now, I'm going to be honest, I have not used Trey Young. I have not seen Trey Young. This is certainly one of the rarest cards in the game, but he is one of the players that is going to have significantly increased odds in the update that we're receiving today, in that he is going to be much more readily available in the Game Changers pack. So this could potentially impact him significantly. Added open field goal percentage of 4%, 5%, 6%. I'm assuming that is one that progresses as you level up the card. Increased field goal percentage after using exclusive skills as well, 4%, 5%, 6%. So not super huge changes, but definitely notable. We found that Trey Young's exclusive skills were too concentrated on his signature crossover, making him less reliable in regular shooting, so just overall balancing him out. Now, this is definitely one that's going to be very notable because James Harden is probably the card that people are most excited for as far as the changes that we're going to see in the updated packs. As far as the Game Changer packs go, added open field goal percentage, 4%, 6%, 8%. Once again, I'm not 100% positive if that is relating specifically to how you level him up, how far away he is from the basket, whatever that would be. But also buffed his increased field goal percentage after using exclusive skills with those same percentages. In very similar notes to what we saw for Trey Young. His exclusive skill bonuses are too concentrated. We're going to fast forward in the gameplay real quick. So we do have some gameplay in the background. We found that his exclusive skill bonuses are too concentrated on his signature step back shots, making him less reliable in regular shooting. Therefore, we have adjusted his attributes accordingly, which I think is definitely fair. Ja Morant, this is one that I haven't seen a ton of people using, and I'm assuming it's probably because it's not the best card available right now, especially the point guard position, but increase the trigger range of exclusive dunks to 5 to 6 meters. And crossover animation optimizations as well, so the card should just, in general, play a lot more smoothly. His current crossover moves weren't quick enough, and they wanted to make him be able to match other comparable point guards, and his signature dunk requires a closer basket distance to trigger the move when compared to other dunkers, which is why they enhanced it from what they did. Another buff that we got right here, Julius Randle. I don't think there's many people that would say this is not a card that needed a buff. They added his putback dunk, unlocked at rank 2, which like rank 2, very easy to unlock. Basically, you need 2 of the cards to upgrade it to rank 2, so definitely going to be a notable one. I will say putback dunk is not one that's super regularly activated, so I don't think it's something that necessarily is going to make him meta. I anticipate that most people are probably still not going to use Julius Randle, but at the bare minimum, you can now do a putback dunk with him, which makes sense because he is a power forward. Zion Williamson, interestingly enough, is going to be getting a buff as well. Increase the probability of his contested dunk rate after a hop step, obviously the hop step being his signature move, from 10, 15, 20 up to 15, 20, 25. I think that's definitely necessary because he doesn't have a very good jump shot. He is super dependent on being able to get dunks, and obviously a lot of those are going to be contested. So as you can see right here, Zion's hop step is a strong exclusive skill, and we hope to create more gameplay around it. Obviously, as it was, not something that's getting utilized a lot. Jrue Holiday, I think, is another one that was definitely in need of a buff, and you can see right here, they added the step back shot skill from rank 2. Obviously, step back it is definitely one of the meta moves in the game right now. Highly effective and very difficult to guard, especially if you can create a little bit of extra space before doing it. They did also increase his speed attribute from 637 out to 830. That is a huge buff. 200. This is going to be easily one of the fastest cards in the game, and they enhanced his speed at all ranks. Obviously, the defense is the main highlight for Jrue Holiday, but the fact that you have now a step back added into the rotation and that much more speed is going to be ridiculous. Anybody who has played NBA Infinite at the highest level has probably faced a lot of Paul Georges, so it's not going to be a surprise that Paul George is getting a nerf in this update for the game. Reduced resistance to pick and roll screens and exclusive skill. Obviously, Paul George's defense is one of the biggest highlights and one of the reasons that he's as dominant as he is. When performing screen in front, opponent's perfect screen rate will be reduced from 20, 30, 40 down to 10, 15, 25. I believe that's a nerf. Reduce the resistance. Yeah, that should be a nerf as far as from what I can tell. Nimble screen avoidance rate was reduced as well. So these are all avoidance rates, so any decrease to it is inherently going to be a nerf. When performing a screen to the side, the opponent's perfect screen rate will be reduced to those percentages as well. Nimble screen rate reduced. Enhanced steal attributes, allowing for better performance in easy to steal situations. Max rank increase from 810 to 850. So it's not all downsides for Paul George. He is going to be better at stealing the ball, which as somewhat of a defensive specialist does make sense. But I think overall Paul George is going to be a lot more difficult to deal with. And as you can see, as they're saying in the developer notes right here, he's way better in the game than he is in his actual real-life performance, and they want to find a way to balance that out. So I do like that they're doing that, and I think it's definitely necessary. You can see right here, they're also nerfing the step-back shot. I think that's one of the most important changes that we could have potentially seen made in the entirety of the NBA Infinite meta. I think step backs are probably the primary way that you'll see the majority of guards getting their shots and shooting forwards as well. So allowing it to be better defended, I think, is a necessary change. Scrolling down, you can see a little bit too difficult to defend and is overused. So fortunately, they are paying attention to how these different skills are being used in the game and making those changes accordingly. We also have some bug fixes. Fix an issue where lucky shots reset to 0 after a player fails to upgrade rank 7, not something I'd encounter, but bug fixes are always a W. Fix an issue preventing players from being offered trials at the club as well. That is something that I actually noticed because that was a button that I pressed over and over again. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I would like a little bit more in-depth explanation of how the club works and maybe some more utility for the club as well. Because it feels like it's not something that's super usable right now. But overall, I like the changes that they made. I think there's probably some more that could be made. I think especially as far as cards that don't have a ton of utility. And I think there's cards like Karl-Anthony Towns that could use a little bit of nerf, I think, especially for speed for him. I think you look at the budget beasts that we have in the game as well, and there's maybe some budget beasts are stronger than they should be. But overall, I think the game's in a solid spot, and I think the main changes that we do need to see are just in regards to gameplay, the way defending works, the way stealing the ball on passes works, other things like that. So if there's other things you guys do want to see change in the game, let me know in the comments down below. But that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you did, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.